What are bitters? And how do you use them in a cocktail? Let's find out. Welcome to Common Man Cocktails. I'm Derrick Schommer. Today what I want to do is tell you about one of the most passionate things I love to talk about. This is going to be hard to keep under 10 minutes, so I'm going to roll right through it, and I'm only going to hit on the high points. I have video references below if you want to know more about cocktail bitters. We've done histories, we've done tastings and blind tastings. It's all linked below. There's tons of information. I love talking about it, so you'll find all kinds of videos that are lengthy. This will be a little shorter. Pequeño. So what are bitters? According to Ira Koplowitz, which it's a great quote, bitters are like the spice rack of the cocktail world. Who's Ira? Ira happens to be one of the co-founders of BitterCube. Let's see, this one, this one, this one, that one. BitterCube has a great selection of bitters. We'll talk a little bit more about the different selections in a second. The 1800s was really the golden age of the cocktail bitter. But around 2005, I noticed that the bitter trend continued to grow and grow, and I had to learn more about it. Tons of new brands were coming out. A lot of them small batch, crafty, not just trendy, but trying to change the cocktail world. A couple of these folks are BitterCube, as we mentioned, Bitter Truth or Bergen Hawk. Bitter Truth, same company. These are lemon bitters. I really love their old-fashioned aromatics. Scrappy's Bitters in Seattle, another great company. So there's a lot of companies. What makes it bitter? If you reverse engineer the concept of a bitter, you come up with three things. Alcohol, great for extracting flavors. It's a good solvent for being able to pull those flavors out. It's also a great stabilizing agent. That's why alcohol rarely ever goes bad. That's why alcohol is used to store things, to sanitize things, to clean things. You get it? Then there's the bitters. This could be seeds, barks. In this case, this is horehound. Horehound's an herb. It's kind of bitter. You want something less bitter? Cherry bark. That's what you find in cherry bark vanilla bitters. It's still a bitter, but it's a little subtle. Dandelion root, wormwood. There's tons of them. Then there's the aromatics. That's the third component. That is where some of the aroma comes from, especially in the aromatic bitters. And you'll find aromatics in pretty much every bitter that exists. It's kind of the third tier component. Flowers, plant matter, berries, citrus seed, citrus zest, cola nut. Yeah, these are the nuts that's used in Coca-Cola. It's a thing. Originally, bitters were really only used at apothecaries. They help to aid in digestion. They help with other specific medical ailments. They help remove toxins from your system. However, back in the day, some apothecaries and some traveling salesmen, which we would call snake oil salesmen, I guess, would sell bitters to cure everything. It was a cure-all. If you had cancer, if you had anything wrong with you, bitters solved the problem. It wasn't true. It was really all lies. It has medical benefits, but it's not going to cure cancer. And if you're peeing blood, go to the doctor. So bitter is a bittering agent, an aromatic, and an alcohol to stabilize and extract the flavors. How do you use them? They're much like salt. If you salt your food to accentuate the flavors, it adds a dynamic flair, much like parsley might add to garlic bread or garlic. A cardamom bitter is going to add some nice aromatic, flavorful cardamom that lingers in your cocktail, especially in gin cocktails. Grapefruit is going to give it a little bit more of a bitter citrus component. The biggest challenge outside of the huge selection of different bitter flavors is where you specifically want to use them. Most cases, things that call for aromatics, dark flavors like allspice, cherries, cinnamons, chocolates, all the different West Indian trade spices. Those work great in brown spirits, your bourbons, all your different types of whiskeys, your aged rums. Other things that are brown, there's other brown spirits out there. Brain, just not working. All these flowery, lightly aromatic, herbal type qualities typically work great in your tequilas, in your rums, in your vodka, in your gin, to accent or bring additional flavor to your cocktail. Then there's this thing called the Amari. Wouldn't bitters be considered an Amari? No. Bitters aren't necessarily an Amari. These are Amaris. In most areas, an Amari and a bitter are classified differently. An Amari is a liqueur or a liquor or something that you have to buy at a liquor store, package store, packy, any place where only liquor can be bought by the federal government of your country. Bitters are non-potable. That means you can usually sell these anywhere. That's why all of these bitters are available at awesomedrinks.com. I own it. I don't have a liquor license. I'm allowed to sell these because non-potable means undrinkable. There are things that you don't slug down a bottle of cherry bark vanilla bitters from BitterCube because it's probably going to give you a stomach ache or something bad's going to happen. It's not something you typically do. It's not enjoyed like an alcohol. This is the same way that vanilla vodka and vanilla extract are different. Vanilla extract is a highly concentrated vanilla flavor with 35% alcohol by volume. Vanilla vodka is a 35% alcohol by volume grain alcohol flavored with vanilla. Subtle nuanced difference. Could you sit down and slug 3 bottles of vanilla extract and get drunk? Probably. Are you going to have a stomach ache? Most likely. But your breath is going to be awesome. How do you use a bitter? Bitters have different dashing mechanics, and that is where things get crazy. If you're using an eyedropper, a dash is an entire eyedropper full. And here's why. No matter how much you try, the eyedropper will never fill up all the way. It's usually halfway. The other challenge with this is as the liquid goes away, it becomes harder to fill your dasher. That's life, you deal with it. The other thing you can do is you could put them all in custom bitters dashers, but that's probably a little bit beyond where you're looking right now. When I have to dash with the custom dasher comes with, I count 1 dash as 1 shake. Unless nothing comes out, then I shake it again. The way I typically handle things, this is a calls for 2 to 3 dashes. I usually add 4 or 5 because I like a little bit more. Plus it gives a nice round flavor, and it allows me to make sure I didn't miss a dash. Now let's say you find a place that has a bunch of different bitters and you want to be able to experiment and taste. Or you're at Tales of the Cocktail and you're sitting at a desk of a guy that's about to try and sell you some bitters. And he says, here, taste them. This is how you do it. The easiest way to taste your bitters is to take your hand with it clean, right between your thumb and your finger where that web is, right above it, you just drop a dash. Some of them are more watery, so they might not sit. It sits on your hand and you go like this. Lick it. Why don't you just put it in the palm of your hand? Because the palm of your hand might have something dirty in it. It's got other things that are impacting the bitter flavor and you're not going to get it the same. Most people don't use this part of their hand for picking stuff up. The other way you can do it is this. Doesn't look good when you're sampling in public because if it touches your tongue and the next person has to do it, kind of gross. It's sort of like double dipping ketchup at a family event. Sure, they're all family, but it's still kind of gross. Okay, so let's look back at this Amari thing. What's all this crap back here? Amari is a bitter liqueur. Like we said, these are potable, non-potable. An Amari is a classification in Italian. It classifies bitter alcohols. Each one of these bitter alcohols is an Amaro. Amari is plural. For Amaro. Some great examples include Malort, Campari, Pimm's, Averna, Cynar, Fernet Branca, Aperol. An Amaro is typically used in a 1/4 ounce, 1/2 ounce, a full ounce, sometimes a little bit more, such as Fernet Branca. They all bring a very striking herbal bitterness, not too unlike bitters. Often having a little bit more sugar, but it's hard to find the sugar when the bite is getting you. So you can buy an Amari at the liquor store, you could buy bitters at awesometrace.com and maybe other places, I don't know. That's right, competitors, you don't count. I have a show. Use bitters like you would use a salt and pepper, like you would go out and buy a curry to pair with a specific meal, or garlic salt to pair with a specific meal, or a Cajun chicken seasoning to pair with, presumably, chicken. You're pairing these and you're adding flavor nuances. When something calls for bitters, you can usually get away with any of these specific bitters. Some might pair better with others. So just like you probably don't sit down and eat a bland meal with absolutely no seasoning, why are you making your cocktails the same way? It ties the drink together. It brings out new flavor, it masks extremely strong flavors, and when you have an unbalanced cocktail, it brings it back into balance. It does that because it's a highly concentrated extract. That concentration brings new complexities to your tongue. Takes all those disjointed flavors and builds one new, awesome flavor in its place. If you have questions about bitters, I'm the guy to ask. I have a lot of them. I sell them. Write your comments below. I'll answer whatever questions you have. If it's big enough, I'll make a whole nother video for you. And of course, the only place that you want to go to buy bitters is awesomedrinks.com. Now what I want you to do, click down there to subscribe to the show if this is your first time here, because you're going to see a lot of new awesome information. These 2 videos over here, pick one. 50-50 chance it's going to be awesome. No, just kidding. It's a 100% chance it's going to be awesome. We're teaching you how to drink. Go Pats.